Aloha Islanders, and welcome back. Remember how we were talking about God being the only God? Let's put our finger up and say, there's only one true God. There's only one true God. Great job. And yesterday we talked about God being all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-present. Let's make big muscles and say nothing is too hard for God. Can you do it with me? Nothing is too hard for God. Great job. Now today, we're talking about God being the ruler of the world. Let's play a little game to find out more. I have a mystery bag here. I will pull a picture out of the bag, and you will have to decide if it's an animal, something else in nature, or a person. So here's our last one. Are you ready? God. Does God the Father fit in any of those categories? Animal, something in nature, a person? No. God the Father is not like anyone or anything else. He's extremely wonderful, more wonderful than you can ever imagine. In fact, he's the King of the world. What do you think of when you think of a king? What makes a good king? God is the most loving, caring, and kind king ever. Kings wear crowns, don't they? So let's check our treasure map and see if we can find a king's crown over near the Great White Gulf. Yes, there it is on the medallion at the Great White Gulf. The king's crown reminds us God is king of the universe. He's king over everything. Have you ever seen this king? Well, the king in this picture is pretend. He didn't ever really live or rule. Someone just made him up. But our Bible account starts with a king who wasn't pretend. His name was King Uzziah. Isn't that an unusual name? King Uzziah was a real person, though, who lived on this earth a long time ago. Guess what happened to King Uzziah? King Uzziah died. Kings on earth die and stay dead, don't they? They aren't like the greatest king ever, God. God is alive forever. I want you to try something for me. Can you lie on the ground and say, King Uzziah died? And then jump up and down and say, but God is alive. Ready? Go. King Uzziah died, but God is alive. Great job, friends. After King Uzziah dies, God gave a man named Isaiah a vision, which is kind of like a dream, but you're still awake. And in his vision, he saw the Lord sitting on a throne. Do you know what a throne is? They are special, fancy seats that kings and queens get to sit on. Here are some thrones. So Isaiah saw the Lord sitting on a special throne. Let's try another motion like we did before. This time, let's look up toward heaven and say, looked heavenward, throne of the Lord. Are you ready? Looked heavenward, throne of the Lord. Good job. Now let's try all of our motions. It's going to be a lot. Are you ready? King Uzziah died, but God is alive. Looked heavenward, throne of the Lord. The next thing Isaiah saw will blow you away. Listen carefully and see if we hear what God was wearing in Isaiah's vision.
In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne, and the hem of his robe filled the temple.
Did you hear what he was wearing? Yes, a robe. God's robe wasn't like any other king's robe. It was special because God is special. His robe was so long and great that it filled the whole temple. A temple is kind of like a church. Can you imagine a robe being so long that it would fill a whole church? It used to be the king's robe showed how important he was. The longer the robe, the more important the king. Wow, God is the most important king ever. His robe filled the temple. Let's pretend to put on a robe as we say temple with robe. Temple with robe. Now let's make a big earth out of our hands, and we can say could fill the globe. The globe means the world. So let's do all our motions before we move on. Are you ready? King Uzziah died, but God is alive. Look heavenward, throne of the Lord. Temple with a robe could fill the globe. Good job. You all are getting so good at those motions. But it gets even more amazing. Do you know what an angel is? Well, in his vision, Isaiah saw a special kind of angel called a seraphim flying around. Here is what the Bible says.
In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord seated on a high and lofty throne, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim were standing above him. They each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces. With 2 they covered their feet. And with 2 they flew.
Let's flap our wings and we say angels fly. Now let's cover our eyes while we say covered their eyes. Great job. Are you ready to add it to the motions that we already know? Let's try them all. Are you ready? Go. King Uzziah died, but God is alive. Looked heavenward, throne of the Lord. Temple with a robe could fill the globe. Angels fly, covered their eyes. You all are so good at those. Okay, on to the next part of our story. So far, Isaiah has been seeing some amazing things. Now he's going to hear some amazing things. Touch the part of your ear that you hear with. Yes, it's your ears. Let me read what the Bible says and see if you can hear the special word that Isaiah hears 3 times.
And one called to another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies.
What word did Isaiah hear 3 times? Yes, holy, holy, holy. Holy doesn't mean full of holes. Donuts have holes, right? But the word holy means something else. It means there's nothing bad in God. It's impossible for him to ever do anything bad or wrong, or even think something bad or wrong. It's impossible for him to make any mistakes. He is all things perfect and good. Let's put our hands on our ears and say, holy was heard. Now let's put up 1, 2, 3 fingers as we say super important word. Are you ready? Holy was heard, super important word. Can we try all the motions now? Here we go. King Uzziah died, but God is alive. Looked heavenward, throne of the Lord. Temple with a robe could fill the globe. Angels fly, covered their eyes. Holy was heard, super important word. Great job. And that was very good. We're almost done now. One more important part of our story. So let's find out at the end what Isaiah heard.
And one called to another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of armies. His glory fills the whole earth.
First, we heard the word holy. Now here's another big word, glory. It says the whole earth was full of God's glory. This means every single thing God has created shows us how amazing God is in some way. Have you ever gone outside at night and looked at the stars? The stars are amazing, and God made them. It's almost like the stars were saying, look at me. I show how amazing God is. I show his glory. Have you ever played in the ocean? I have. The ocean is big and beautiful, isn't it? The ocean always shows God's glory. Have you ever seen a bird flying around? Did you know that every little bud and every bird is made by God? Okay, let's try something. I will ask you a question, and if you have seen what I say, then jump up and sit down right away. Have you ever seen a fish swim? Have you ever seen a flower bloom? Have you ever seen a squirmy caterpillar? Have you ever seen the wind whip the leaves around? Have you ever seen a volcano burst? No, you probably haven't seen that, but I bet that would be pretty cool. You see, God is ruler over all of these things that we just mentioned. He created each and everything you see and has a special purpose for every part of his creation. Did you know that our eyelashes protect our eyes from getting things like sand and dirt in our eyes? That's pretty cool. And even yucky earwax was created to help you keep germs out of your ears. All these examples and many more show God's glory. Everywhere we look around the earth, we see how amazing God is. Let's see if we can add one more motion. King Uzziah died, but God is alive. Looked heavenward, throne of the Lord. Temple with the robe could fill the globe. Angels fly, covered their eyes. Holy was heard, super important word. Tell your story about God's glory. Wonderful. So there you have it. Go find someone to tell about God's amazing love for you, and we will see you tomorrow.